know about you, but this summer has just flown by once again. I can't believe that we went from Memorial Day to Labor Day and just like that. And I don't know, what are we going to do? But it is Monday, Labor Day, September 2nd, and I am just ecstatic to be your host once again for this very special Village in Motion. As you can see, I have one of my traveling hats on, my traveling sunglasses, and we're journeying back 6 years when I had the opportunity to go to Turkey. And I know we've done other specials on Turkey, but today I'm going to take you to the 3rd century where the Greeks lived in caves and flourished. And you're going to see some 7th, 10th, 11th, and 12th century frescoes. You're going to learn all about pigeons and why they are so important for the Turkish history and the government. We're going to be making an authentic Turkish meal with bread in a stone outdoor oven. And we're going to go on the most amazing hot air balloon ride that you have ever experienced. And we're going to see some painted chimneys and just some amazing, amazing sights. So, are you with me, Green Spring? Come and let's travel to Turkey.
The Göreme Open Air Museum. This is one of the most visited museums in Cappadocia, in center of the Cappadocia. And as I said, from 1st century to until 12th century, Greek Orthodox people lived in Cappadocia. But first 300 years, the 1st century, 2nd and the 3rd century, first Christians were suffering. They were escaping from the Roman soldiers. They needed more extra places to make their worship in the friendly atmosphere. So they used the 2nd and the 3rd floor of the underground cities as a simple chapels. But in that chapels, you cannot see any wall painting, any frescoes or something else. Just you can see one simple altar stone, which was portable, because in emergency time, whenever the soldiers try to enter inside, they could carry that stone to next room, so it will look like a simple room, you know. So it will be a kind of camouflage for that people. But end of the 3rd, beginning of the 4th century, Saint Basil and his friends, they went to Egypt and the Philistine, and he learned monastery lifestyle from there. Then came to Cappadocia, and they started the first monastery lifestyle in this place, in this museum area. So this is one of the most important points for Greek Orthodox people. From 3rd century until 12th century, when they were living in here, their education level were not good, of course. So they couldn't read the Bible. So instead of reading the Bible, they had many different kind of wall paintings, the pictures, which is telling us the Jesus life from the Bible, like a slideshow in our universities. So when you follow the pictures, you can understand the Jesus life easily, you know. And especially that frescoes from 7th, 11th, in 10th centuries, you know, and some of them are from 12th centuries. But in here we have 2 types of fresco technique. The first one is the direct painting, especially from the 7th century, because in 7th century King Leo III forget the God. King Leo III affected from the Muslims, because people forget the God and they started to look to Jesus pictures as a God, you know. So in that time, 117 years, they used this kind of forms to make their worship, which we call it as the ictus, that design. In the center you can see I, it is mean Jesus, you know. You can see X in the center, Christ. The circle is theta, it means God, and you can see Summa, like the sun. So when you read, it will be Jesus Christ, Son of the God, Savior. In Old Greek language, it is mean fish. You know, fish is symbol of the Christianity, Last Supper, and some miracles of the Jesus. So in Cappadocia, you can see some direct paintings on the wall, like the ictus, like the gamma crosses. These are from the a kind of camouflaging, you know. And by the way, first they clean up the wall. When the wall was wet, they painted. They used the natural dyes, for example, like the red clay, or sometimes they used the plants from the red onion like that. The other technique is plaster. And especially after they took the freedom again to make the frescoes and the wall paintings, they recover all the walls with the plaster. When plaster was wet, they painted. So plaster absorbs all the color, all the dyes in. So that frescoes from 10th, 11th and the 12th centuries still we can see. But another most interesting point in here, some of that old churches were used as a pigeon house. Until 12th century, Greek Orthodox people lived here. But in 12th century, Selçuks, the Turkish, came to here. For camouflage, they opened some holes in front of the church windows, like that. When you look around, you can see many holes around there. So when you look outside, you can think that it's a pigeon house, but normally it was a church. So Turkish people thought that, these are the pigeon houses. They close the doors and the windows and turn into the real pigeon houses. So when the pigeons were living inside, they got dirty, all the frescoes with their drops. When our government decided to open this kind of places as a museum, they clean up the pigeon drops and they found the frescoes well preserved. Sorry, but I can say that pigeon shits preserved our history. So we love the pigeons. And step by step I will show you some small chapels, but end of our tour on the way I will show you the one really huge church. Which consists of 4 different parts, biggest, oldest, and the best church in Cappadocia. Some part restored, and you can see more blue color. It's unique in Cappadocia. We will start from the St. Basil Church. As I said, I cannot enter the church, but I can explain you now. When you enter the church, you will see some big halls, and these are all the tombs for priests. And sometimes you can see the small one like that. These are for babies, because they thought that babies and the priest, Holy Spirit, the pure Spirit, it will be good protector for the church. But whenever they need to leave from the Cappadocia in 12th century, they carried all the bones of the priests to their land because they thought that these are the important people.
Good luck with that.
It was a big dining room table, about 60-65 people could sit here. And beginning of the table, you can see one hall. They were distributing wine from that hall in the 800 jars. Wine will be holy wine because here is a winery. So they were carrying all the grapes from outside. And they were crushing, squeezing all the grapes by stepping. And the grape settle down to that small holes so they can obtain the fresh grape juice to that pool. So when they carry that fresh grape juice to the next pool for fermentation of the wine. The wine will be holy wine. Why? Because here is a monastery, And their dining room table is 20-25 centimeters higher than their seats. And this is the original one. So when you look around, you can understand from the smoke. And tomorrow we will talk about the candles. But for this kind of places, they use it linseed and for candles. So when they opened the door or the windows like that, inside they had the really strong air circulation. So all the smoke went outside, didn't stay here. And after they finished their lunch or their dinner, they were washing their hands in that small holes with vinegar. Why vinegar? Because it's really good disinfector. And still my grandmom every day is cleaning up the hands with the vinegar and the face. And in underground cities they use the same technique. So they use that as a kind of meeting room. And normally on the wall you can see the Last Supper, but as you see this is sulfur, which is really soft. Today we cannot see because it's collapsed naturally. This is a sandal church, and you will see the one sandal on the Jesus feet, so we call it as the sandal church, And these are exactly the same fresco which you saw in the Apple church. When to enter inside and when you look your left, you will see Nativity of the Jesus. In that time they had the population census, everybody had to go to their own town. When they arrived there, they couldn't find any place to stay. They had to stay in a stable, and Virgin Mary gave birth to a son called Jesus. When Jesus was born, one of the stars rise up from the Jesus, and the 3 astrologers followed the stars of the Jesus, and they gave different kind of gifts to him. We call it as a king adoration because their clothes look like the kings, And when you little turn up to the door, you will see the crucifixion. At this corner, you will see hospitality of the Prophet Ibrahim from Old Testament. And in the main apse, you will see the deities again, Virgin Mary, John the Baptist, and in the center, Jesus. When you look at the top, on the main dome, you will see Pantocrator of Jesus. But this is really interesting. In here, you can see another fresco next to the main dome. You can see the Jesus in his 12 years old. Because, you know, he went to temple in his 12. So this is unique in Cappadocia. And that picture is like the others, end of the 11th, beginning of the 12th century. But that place were used as a pigeon house. You can see the one hole. So we spent about 5 years to cleaning up to that pigeon traps. So you will see the frescoes well preserved. And behind of you, you can see the Uchisa Rock Castle, which is highest point of the Cappadocia. So they had really good communication to each other with obsidian. It's a kind of glazing stone like the mirror, with pigeons and with smoke, of course. Yeah.
what we're talking about, but we got it going on. Right? Yeah. All down.
ready. And we cover up with the little bread so it can cook really fast.
Wow.
Ofiste onlar iftar açtılar. There is Uchisar Castle. You will see. Yes, Uchisar Castle. Sometimes we will be so close to the fairy chimneys. At the end of the flight, we will climb up, okay? You will see the sunrise. Yes. Today you are lucky because there is no too much cloud. You will see. Did you see they use rope? We didn't use. Köpük mü? Ya saçmalama. Hatta dönemeyiz.
Batman.
Now we will wait 5 or 6 seconds because when we are flying the degree of the envelope is more than 100 degrees. Now we are decreasing the degree of the envelope. Tamam mı? Yumuşadı mı?
These guys dragging themselves through. Oh, they want to get it to go that way.
Sezer hadi.
The balloon. Aha.
Did you see they use rope? We didn't use. Yes, cheating. This is the small one, ours is the biggest. Tamam mı? Yumuşadı mı?
Wow.
When I see the smiling people on the board, I am so happy because I thought that I did my best for you.
Yes, you
Thank you
did.
very much. It was a great pleasure for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
And an absolutely amazing experience. If you ever get a chance to go to Turkey, go to Cappadocia. It's a wonderful place. And the balloon rides, I mean, you know, as you saw, there were like at least 30 to 50 balloons just flying all over the place and seeing that just wonderful, wonderful sunrise. So I hope you enjoyed our traveling feature on this Labor Day.